You should enjoy it. Coming up, our opening bout on Fight Night at the Felt Forum will be set to go in just a moment. Begin boxing action. Let's go right up into the ring to ring announcer Ed Darian for the introductions to our opening bout.
From the Big Apple, New York City's fabulous Felt Forum, here at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. As Madison Square Garden Boxing, Bob Goodman, Vice President of Boxing and Matchmaker, and Pat Fleming, Assistant Matchmaker, presents this evening's Fight Night. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of the scheduled 6-round welterweight bout, referee Oscar Perez. And now, boxing fans, introducing the principals. First, in the blue corner, wearing the gray trunks with the red trim. He tipped in at 147.5 pounds. This gentleman has 8 wins, 2 losses with 5 knockouts. From Troy, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome KO Kevin Pompey. Pompey. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the red trim. He weighed in at 146.5 pounds. This young man has 6 wins, 1 loss, with 3 knockouts. From Brooklyn, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Stephan, the Static Johnson. Johnson.
The Static, huh? Does that mean he, like electricity, he's got is that it?
I think that's what that has to do about it. I'm not sure about that one.
Oscar Perez with the final instructions to the fighters. Stephan Johnson, 3 knockouts in his 6 wins, 1 loss. From Brooklyn, New York. He's 20 years old. Kevin Pompey from Troy, New York is 23. Only a half-inch difference in their heights. With Johnson, good right. That was a good quick right on the chin. Pompey felt it. Pompey's open for that right hand, and Johnson exploiting it thus far.
Pompey is not a defensive wizard, but he comes to fight, and this is usually the kind of pace he keeps. He just walks right at a guy. He's had 2 losses. Last time he lost a very disputed decision to Joe Summers, and then a few months earlier, you might remember the name Warren Nelson, who knocked out Mark Wyman in this very ring. Mark Wyman was getting beat all the way just about up to the final bell, launched a desperation last-second shot, down and out went Pompey.
That was Nelson who stopped him.
Right.
Pompey has dropped in an occasional left hook, but he keeps getting clipped by that quick right hand from Johnson. And again, a good left hook. So Pompey open for the right hand from Johnson. Johnson open for the left hook from Pompey. Should present an interesting situation as the fight goes on.
Stephan Johnson favors that right cross. It's his harder punch, but he's very accurate with that left jab, and he uses it to set up the right, which is the way it should be done.
The right hand by Pompey got in. Neither man showing much defense. Both have landed well and taken punches, taken good punches.
This has been a fast-paced first round, and you know what? I think this is going to be the slowest action we're going to see all fight.
That right hand by Johnson came up short. Johnson not stepping in as much as he did in the first minute after he got clipped a couple of times.
Well, he's a bit cautious because he's felt that power of Pompey, and he sees how aggressive he really is. Johnson would do himself a favor. He just kept the fight in ring center, just continued to move and pop the jab the way he's been doing.
So far, that's where the fight has been fought. Good work to the body by Pompey. Final seconds of round 1. Round 2 scheduled for 6. In the white trunks, Stephan Johnson from Brooklyn. And in the silver trunks is Kevin Pompey from Troy, New York. I gave Pompey that first round. How about you, Randy?
Oh, I went the other way. I
Did
gave
you?
it to Johnson. And here in New York, the scoring is done on a round system with a supplemental 1-point system. It's a scoring system many of the journalists in the New York area say has to be changed.
Why?
Because it leaves... Do you remember the Chris Reed fight against Fulgencio Obel Mejias? Reed was dropped 6 times in that fight. He actually won more rounds in the fight, but because he kept getting dropped, Obel was coming up with more points. He won it on points.
I thought Pompey was more aggressive in the second half of that first round. And I thought he landed some good body shots. And that was the reason I gave him that round.
Well, he certainly was aggressive for the first half of the round, but then he started really turning on the pressure. But I thought as he walked in, the left jab was just finding him. Not very hard, but it was finding him.
Both fighters in superb condition.
That's one reason I think this fight could be the show stealer, as I call it, the fight of the night. I think at the very least, you can have an exceptional fight here. At the very least.
Good right hand by Stephan Johnson.
The only time Johnson lost a fight was a few years ago when he dropped his decision to hard-hitting Long Islander Mac Brown.
The right hand got in by Pompey. Johnson's really a raw talent at 20 years old. He's only had 12 amateur fights, 7 professional fights.
And that is quite a difference, especially when you look at Kevin Pompey's amateur record. 54 amateur bouts. He lost only 6 times.
Good uppercut by Pompey and the straight right hand by Pompey.
Notice how both fighters are keeping those hands up, keeping the elbows tucked in. Neither man wants to give away the body shots, despite the fact that bodies are so defined and strong looking.
Neither man has been hurt. Good left hook got in by Johnson, and they go punch for punch here as they trade left hooks and right hands. Everything being thrown right now. It just appears to me, Randy, that Pompey is the harder hitter. There's the right hand. Though neither man has been hurt to this point.
Pompey might be the harder hitter, but certainly with the right cross, Johnson's favorite shot. That is a debilitating punch.
Been a good toe-to-toe fight thus far through the first 2 rounds. Real good exchanges in that second round, Randy.
There were plenty of them. This is just one of many, with the right hand of Pompey getting in and the right hand of Johnson getting in over and over again in what started out to be an action-packed fight and is getting better and better as the seconds tick on.
This is round 3, scheduled for 6. Okay, round 2. Who'd you go for?
I went with Pompey that time. He was putting on the pressure, Sam, but that round, I thought he was the effective aggressor. The first round, I wasn't so sure the word was effective.
I gave Pompey that round also. So you've got it even. I've got Pompey 2-0.
Yeah, right hand.
Yeah, right hand lead by Pompey.
That was a solid punch. That may have been his most solid punch of the fight so far.
Neither man has a great jab, but they do throw their punches well. The hooks are strong and the crosses. There's a good left hook by Pompey. Good body shots by Pompey.
You know, there's a referee in there by the name of Oscar Perez, and I just realized that there was a ref in there. This has been a clinch-free fight so far. Nothing more pleasing than that. Nothing worse than a fight where both guys hug and dance all night long.
Again, that right hand lead. A good follow left hook by Pompey. Feels he has an advantage, drops in a good right hand.
You saw Johnson take that left hook and then stagger away and shake his head no. But many times when a fighter shakes his head no, it means just the opposite. It means yes, you got me.
Johnson is due at this point to try and slow down Pompey. But I think Pompey just has a little too much at this stage of his career for Johnson.
And certainly inside, that strength. It looks like Pompey at 23 years old, Johnson at 20. It looks like a man against a boy.
Good uppercut by Stephan Johnson.
The strength may be going to Pompey, but that punching power, I think it's very, very even. Early on, it was looking like Pompey had the greater punching power, but look at Johnson rip those punches through.
Johnson printing combinations late in the round. Time winding down in round 3.
There was a nice right hand by Pompey. Johnson came back, and as he came back, Pompey launched another shot. It was one counter. It was a counter to a counter.
But late in the round, I would say the last 30 seconds, it looked like Johnson gained confidence, and it started with a left uppercut. He seemed to gain confidence and go on from there. I thought he finished the round very strong.
I got to agree with you there, because it was a very close round, in my opinion, until maybe the last 45 seconds. Then came that left uppercut, and with that left uppercut, Johnson seemed to grow in confidence.
This is round 4, scheduled for 6. Very evenly matched, well-contested welterweight bout.
It shows you many times records just don't mean anything. You don't have to be an undefeated fighter to be an outstanding club fighter. Losses don't hurt fighters. Many times, if a man has learned from that loss, he becomes a better fighter. Stephan Johnson has lost once. Pompey has lost twice.
Pompey has picked up his pace a little bit early in his 4th round. Good jab. Pompey's landed a couple of sharp jabs in this round. Nice combination that Johnson answers. Good combination by Pompey. So that late flurry by Johnson obviously has not bothered Pompey. If anything, it may have awakened him.
Well, he's getting some heat in his corner from his trainer, Tony Rodriguez, and from his manager, Bob Miller.
Johnson coming on with that straight right hand again.
But the counter punches just keep being thrown by both men. Whenever Pompey launches a shot, Johnson comes right back and vice versa. There you saw a hard right hand by Pompey.
And a good right hand again by Pompey. Neither man giving an inch. And some good punches are being landed in there. Good left hook by Pompey.
We saw Pompey spin with the shot. He saw it coming, but he realized it was too late to get out of the way, so he spun and absorbed the punch. It was a real nice move, by the way.
Glancing punches with that left hand thrown by Johnson. Late in round 4. Real close. Each round has been very, very close. Pompey keeps firing. Johnson backing up into round 4. Round 5, scheduled for 6. Each round has been very close to this point. I have Pompey ahead 3-1. Your scorecard, Randy?
Well, I gave the 4th round to Pompey. I've got it even.
Stephan Johnson in the white trunks. The gray or the silver, if you will, belong to Kevin Pompey.
In Pompey's corner, they told him this is a very close fight. Get out there and pressure him, and that's exactly what he's doing. And in Johnson's corner, they said you could be letting it slip away. Get out there and fight him. And that's what he's doing. And I think this fight is only going to pick up in action now. And it's been a good one up to this point.
Pompey's smart. He counters very well. He'll get hit and answer right back, just like that. Got hit with a left hook to the body, came down with a chopping left hook to the chin. Good uppercut by Johnson. Oh, man, good trades.
Very hard trades. These guys are doing what Customato used to say. They are imposing their will on one another, and they are just trying to break one another's spirit. Sooner or later, even though you're pounding on a guy, if he's pounding on you have to say to yourself, what do I have to do to put him down, to knock him out, to win this fight? And if you're not that strong-willed, your spirit breaks, and you lose. So Joe Frazier was that kind of fighter. Never would he let up.
Good right hand by Pompey. Now what happens if the fighters are equal in spirit and neither man breaks? Does it wind up a draw?
Well, then you're talking about a thriller in Manila. The night that Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier went at it, one of the greatest fights of all time. They just kept imposing that will on one another, and it went on only until Eddie Futch said, son, to Joe Frazier, that's it. You're not going out there again. And if he didn't say that, Frazier would have gone out one more time.
This is the first time in the fight that the pace has showed any signs of slowing down.
Well, you know what they're doing, Sam? I think...
Straight right hand lead again. It's been effective for Kevin Pompey. He gets the right hand in.
There's a couple of strafing shots from long distance by Johnson. Then he moves in and he takes a few hard ones.
Again, tremendous trade. Not too many misses in this fight for either man.
That was one of the rare times tonight Pompey has thrown a straight left hand.
Very close round again. End of round 5. Boy, how do you score this one? Whew. Very, very tough. Into the corner of Kevin Pompey.
No more after this. No more after this. You gotta take this round, okay? You understand? All right. Deep breath. Deep breath. Come on. Deep breath. Take a deep one. Come on.
Don't wait on the inside like that. You gotta move them hands on the inside, Kev, okay? Don't let him out-hustle you in there. He's pitter-pattering and he's out-hustling you on the inside. Ready for water?
Lítale los guantes. Lítale los guantes. Saca la vaselina a los guantes. Saca la vaselina a los guantes. That's the last one. That's the one.
Stephan Johnson looks very calm, collected. On the other side, Kevin Pompey really breathing heavily.
Well, he faded in the last round of his fight against Joe Summers, and that cost him the fight. He was told by Bob Miller, his manager, don't let him out-hustle you in there.
Okay, 6th and final round. No knockdowns. It has been a very, very up-tempo fight from the opening bell. I've got Pompey ahead 3 rounds to 2.
I've got Johnson 3 rounds to 2. I gave him that 5th round. I like those combinations he was throwing. I thought he got hit with the harder shots, but I just like those combinations he was ripping off the face of Pompey over and over again.
Very close fight. Each round has been very close.
See, in a fight like this, right now, while there's still this round to go, I would expect a majority or a split decision. Everybody's going to have their opinion one way or the other on this fight.
Pompey looking for the big punch here. He's gotten in a couple, and Johnson's had to back off. Pompey's hands down. Good combination by Johnson. Johnson seems to be under better control here, Randy.
He might be under better control, Sam, but I think he's got to throw a few more punches. This is not the same amount of punches he threw as in round number 5. That word out-hustle, which Bob Miller used, Pompey is listening to him. He is not being out-hustled, at least in my opinion. Every time Johnson throws a shot, Pompey comes back with a few more. He's still working the body very nice, coming upstairs to the head, downstairs and upstairs, upstairs and downstairs. You never know where he's going to go next. See, just like that with a right uppercut, just after he finished working the head.
Look at Johnson, Keith. They may be pitter-pat, but they're effective. And he keeps landing, then he gets tagged with a left hook.
Well, some of them are
Good straight right, and for the first time in the fight, Pompey backed off. A little shaken. Another right hand knocks the mouthpiece out of the mouth of Kevin Pompey. 50 seconds to go in the fight. Pompey showing signs of weakening here. Good right. Pompey digging down.
That's a rule I think that should be changed. If a man's mouthpiece falls out, time should be called. He should have the mouthpiece put back in. We're talking about safety in professional boxing. Without a mouthpiece, the man is in danger.
Tremendous flurry by Stephan Johnson, his best of the fight. And for the first time, it looked like we had somebody hurt. Pompey flat-footed here. Still a little shaky. Real tired. Pompey very, very tired here. But just seconds to go in the fight now. There'll be no knockout. A good finish for Stephan Johnson. It may have won him the fight. That's it. Real good one to open the show. Stephan Johnson.
It was that final minute. It had been a close round. I thought Pompey was winning it up till then. But it was he was winning it close. And Johnson wasn't just standing there. He was fighting back. You had pointed out pity-pat punches, but occasionally he launched a shot, and finally he jumped in, landed a big right hand, and I thought that last minute could have turned the round around. And I gave it to Johnson. By giving him that round, I gave him the fight.
I gave Johnson the last 2 rounds, and I've got it even at 3 rounds apiece. So we will see what the judges at ringside think. As I mentioned, each round close enough to go either way. So we may have a variety of opinions.
Just another typical round. This fight was like this from the opening bell, and it was that right hand which turned things around with about a minute to go in the round, in the 6th and final round, with Johnson landing the shot, then jumping in, sensing he might be able to knock his opponent out, letting both hands fly. There's the right hand that knocked the mouthpiece of Pompey out, and Pompey was indeed in trouble as he staggered back towards the ropes. There's that same right hand which knocks it right out of his mouth, and that was still with about 45 seconds to go.
Stephan Johnson very much under control, calm. Seems to be okay, seems to have something left. Kevin Pompey looks spent.
Well, that's every time I see him, he looks spent because he gives nothing less than 100% in a fight, whether he's winning or losing.
Still awaiting a collection of the cards, so it's going to be very interesting to see the tallies here.
I'm telling you, I would not be surprised. Majority or split decision. I felt that back as early as around the 3rd round with the way the fight was going.
I wouldn't be surprised if it were a draw.
It would almost be nice to see that. But if a man deserves to win it, that's how it's got to be.
Cards are being checked out by State Athletic Commission officials.
And you wonder, did one man win more rounds but another man get more points? If Chris Reed had stayed on his feet, not stopped by Obel Mejias, he would have won the fight. He won more rounds, but he was dropped 6 times in the fight. He got beat up. He lost the fight. Actually, he was stopped.
That's right. That fight was stopped.
But if they went to the cards, he would have won it. And that's what makes me think the scoring here, the scoring system has to be changed in New York. How'd they score this one? I'm wondering at home. There's a lot of fans out there like to mark their scorecards. How do fans score it?
Okay. Ed Darian has the scorecards. Randy has got it 4-2 for Johnson. I've got it 3-3. Let's see what the judges think. Let's go to Ed Darian for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a split decision. And the scoring by rounds as follows. Judge Artie Levine observed the fight even at 3-3, but in points scored it 4-3 Pompey. Dr. Marvin Goldberg, he watched the fight at 4-1 with 1 round even for Johnson. And Judge Ted Witt, he scored it 4-2 for the winner by split decision. KO Kevin Pompey.
Pompey, a split decision.
And let's hear it one more time.
Now, with that supplementary point system, that's what gave it to him. Otherwise, it would have been a draw.
That's it.
One judge had it even. One judge went for Johnson, one for Pompey, but the judge who scored it even in rounds, supplemental points, went to Kevin Pompey. He pulls it out in a split decision, the closest of split decisions, a 1-point victory. As he awaits the decision, yes. 2 weeks ago on Fight Night at the Feld Forum, we saw the return of Edwin Chapo Rosario as he stopped Ramiro Lozano in the 3rd round. He is the Daily News Fighter of the Night for that night. And tonight, our Fight Night poll, we open the phone lines and ask you about the Tyson Spinks Heavyweight Championship bout Monday, June the 27th in Atlantic City. Who's going to win it? 212-736-MSGN, the number to call. There are free tickets available to upcoming fight nights here at the Felt Forum. And that's the Fight Night poll. Mr. Gordon, who do you think?
There's no question about it. We've done this one before. My feelings just have not changed. Catskill Thunder in 2. The man is just too strong. I look at this the way I looked at Bob Foster, the light heavyweight champ, back in 1970 against Smokin' Joe.